Hi YouTube, welcome back. My name's Nick. Today I'm going to show you just a very simple thing, something that I could have ordered and waited on it, or we can make one and get a computer back out the door today for the customer. So, if you're new here, we work on electronics, do odds and ends, game consoles, whatever happens to come our way. We try to do something different all the time. Doesn't always work, but I think we can get a success today. So what we need is we're going to make a 1 to 2 3-pin fan header. So if you've ever seen these are Molex. These are Molex to 3-pin fan adapters. You can basically get it on Molex any which way and power a fan, or you could extend your Molex, and if the fan has this type power plug-in, I don't recommend that or this, but we're going to make this actually useful. Why I don't recommend these is they run the fan at a constant rate and the RPMs don't go up and down. It just basically like 50 to 75% of its speed. So what we're going to do is go ahead and chop these off here as close as we can get. We want to recycle this part of them. And we're going to get rid of the Molex adapter part. So let's go in here and cut. Face cutters ain't the best cutters for the job, but we'll make do with what we can. So we have 2 of those, because we're going to make a 1 to 2 fan splitter. And you can, I think, safely split 4 fans off any current motherboard header today. So, little tidbit there. We have to do a modification though. Okay, as you can see here, let's take a closer look. Let me get a light on this subject. That might help as well. Let me turn my light on. Sorry for the camera wiggling. So as you can see, we have 2 wires going into each of them. And why that is with your average 3-pin fan header, it would plug in here. You will have these 2. You have your power, your ground, and then your signal wire. 3-pin fans can be PWM too. They're just not labeled it usually. It's usually the 4-pin fans that are PWM, but the 3-pin ones, the RPM can be adjusted up and down with your signal wire. We need to add a signal wire just to one of these. Doesn't matter which one, but when you're splitting one fan to 2, you do want one of them to have a signal wire, or else you're just going to have a 1 to 2 in fans running at a constant speed. We want the RPMs of the fan to adjust up and down, so we're going to add one of these wires in, our signal wire in. What we don't have currently is a white wire with a pin on it, but what I do have is a black wire with a pin on that will fit this type of housing. As you can see, this was that type of housing until I chopped the edges off. So this was just your average 2-pin fan housing, same thing. I just chopped all the edges off except the guide that guides your fan on. I took and unpinned the one. We're going to cut this off and make use of it. Just this one wire. Adding 2 black wires in can get confusing, so please do make sure you know what you're connecting where. You don't want to short anything out if you go to plug stuff into a motherboard. Okay, so already this should be ready to go. What we need to do is we're going to pop up our little latch part on the pin that makes it lock into the socket, because I pressed it down in order to get it out of the other one. We don't want to pry too much or it will bend and break. We'll just stand it up just a little. It's going to be very tiny, very hard to see, but we will lift it just the tiniest bit, and that will make it lock back into our new socket when we plug it in. So I say we do it here. Which way does it go? It goes this way. There it went. Okay, so it's out, and it is latched in place. We can pull on it and it stays in. Perfect. What we're going to do to not confuse our wires now is we're going to take our fan header. Say we have a fan here plugged in. Now we know which one is our signal wire. What we need to do with our signal wire, I'll zoom this out a little so we have more room. We know our signal wire is separate. Let's take and uncoil this wire just slightly. We're going to take and cut them off at about the same length. For right now, I'm going to use a different fan header to tell which one my signal wire is. It will be my yellow wire here. This is just a fan header with the black wire clipped off. We're focusing on this part. We need to take both of these, the one that we added a signal wire to and the one that's going to be without it. Extend them out, same length. And we'll cut this other one back as well. All right, we need to strip all those ends off because they're going to be getting soldered together here quickly. And then we're going to connect our signal wire here, and then all of our grounds and power wires together into one. We did the 2-for-1 special on that. We got one wire mixed up. Let's split those a little bit. And we need to strip down these 3. We're going to do 2-for-1 on this one. And strip this about the same length. That is our signal wire. Also, having it separate helps you identify it when you're trying to figure out where it goes. You know what to connect to because it's not bundled in with the rest of the wires. But maybe we take a minute and do it now. What do you think? We can do it later. I said we needed 3. We're going to cut down 3 of these. All right, one's a little long. We're going to put it down over our single one going to the fan header side that goes to the motherboard, and then we'll retwist our wires together. All right, let's get that back in our helping friendly hand. Let's just look at everything. Okay, and everything's connected, has heat shrink on. We're going to move our heat shrink back away from the source of heat where we're going to be soldering because that will just make it tough. It'll start shrinking it early, and we don't want that. All right, let's grab our metal that we like melting so much with this stuff and start putting it together. All right, you hot? Let's go. Don't want to add too much or too much heat. We're just going to hit each of these. And finally, let's get our signal wire. Our heat shrink's going to go up over that and over the other 2 that we twisted that wire to. Like so. We have the wires coming from the fan header. Quick blast of our hot air. It is not very warm right now. Have it down super low, but as long as we can shrink it, we'll be good. More airflow, a little higher temp. Let's go. Let's dock our hot air. It's starting to cool down. And then when we take and have everything said and done, we could even take and sleeve this, which I probably will not do on video. But I could upload a finished picture to wherever, Instagram, maybe into the video right at the end. But we're going to take and split these off. We have our one with our signal wire. We have that. And you can sleeve it with, you know, something simple like this stuff, and you put heat shrink on the end. Let me show you this very quickly, just to make it look a little nicer. We'll get it down right to where the split needs to be, and what I would do is heat shrink that in place, pull it tight, heat shrink this end in place and then trim the stuff off. And that's basically just sleeving for your wires. But essentially what we have, one goes to the motherboard. We can plug in 2 fans here, and when we have each of these sleeved, you won't notice the extra signal wire floating about. It'll be bundled in there. You can actually solve that now with a piece of heat shrink or a zip tie, but we'll wait for the sleeving to sort that. And then we can plug in 2 fans. One has the signal wire, so that will report, the motherboard will make that, adjust its RPMs. It will be getting a reading from the fan, and it will adjust both of the RPMs of them, but you only need a signal wire running one of them. Anyhow, talking a whole lot. We're going to get out of here. As I always state, try to fix something up or make something better than it was before. If it's just junk lying around in the bin, the scrap heap, the landfill, e-waste, try and fix it up, upgrade it, make it awesome, make it work better than it did before if possible. If not, just make it work, preserve this awesome place that we all inhabit and share together. If you're new here, my name's Nick. Thanks for coming over and making a 3-pin 1 to 2 adapter with me today, and we'll see you in the next video. Wait. Hold up. What is that? Stop that! Stop that shit! Alright, let's get this out of the way so I can, I don't know, I feel stupid sometimes. Because I take and I just say something and then I don't explain it, and I'm like, kind of like when you, I don't know, in a video game, maybe when your character is dying in a survival game and they fall on the floor and you're like, come on, get up, get up. I knew I should have ate earlier. Yeah, stupid like that. Here's our adapter sleeved up. This is our 1 to 2, 3-pin, and we have our signal pin on this one. You don't want it, you could go up to 4, I think, safely, as I said earlier. You could go from 1 to 4, and you would really only, all the adapters I've seen have the signal pin in one of them, the rest only have the 2 pins. Now, it doesn't much matter whether your fan has 2 pins or 3 pins. Let's do a little demonstration here. And these fans are going to run, they're close to the same spec. So, even, we'll put this fan on a 3-pin since it has 3, and put this one on 2 pins since it only has 2, but it has only 2 wires, black and red, but it has the connector that we need on it. So we're going to set these here and take our adapter. Actually, do I want to do that? Yeah, I can do that. I can do that safely, no problem. So we'll set them there. We're going to have them spinning. We have our adapter here, and we're going to let's get this unit out, our ever awesome juice meter that we're going to use. We're going to use this to detect some juice going into these fans. What kind of juice it is. How much juice, to be precise. Let's flip these. We'll put that there and this one here. I like that better. That feels more organic. So we're going to take our little 1 to 2 adapter that we made, and I have a Molex connection here. Remember earlier I said about Molex to fan adapter? Well, we're going to do that, and we're running at about 9.2 volts right now. We'll try and turn it up a little even more to 12. And you can see both of those are running at a pretty high rate of speed. So right there, and Molex is going to put out 12 volts. Like, that's just the way it is. That's what voltage comes out. It puts out 2 ground wires, 5 volt, and then 12 volt. on the yellow. The yellow wire is where they connect the red wire in for fans. Okay, so it's going to be putting out 12 volts always, so your fans are going to be running at a pretty decent rate of speed. Let's take a look at it. Let's see if I can adjust the frame rate of the camera real quick to show you. You're going to see the fans kind of slowing down. Okay, so we can tell they're moving. Right now I'm at 1,000. And let's take it back down to 60 FPS. So that's at 60 FPS. You can see, wait, is that 60? Sorry. 30 FPS is what we're at. Let's see what kind of voltage we have coming out. So 10.99 volts, right up around 11. Okay, so you can see they're going to run at a good rate of speed. Now, let's hook it up the proper way. We will take and disconnect from our power supply, Molex adapter. I'm going to shut that off while we're here. And this is why I don't recommend, you saw me working with it earlier. Well, I don't recommend these things. Remember, I cut these off to make, I cut the little ends off to make these ends, the little tails that have the fan on. And here's one. This is just one that I chopped up to do something different with it. Say, I don't recommend these for powering fans to anybody. You get a fan that spins at a high rate of speed. Okay, that's not gonna, it'll cool your system, but it's not going to be good, be beneficial for sound. Like it's going to be loud. I'm sorry, it just is. So what we're going to do here is take and connect this. I have a wire coming off of a PC. All right, coming off of a fan header on a motherboard inside a PC. And real quick, we're going to measure our voltage. We can see that they're spinning a little slower. They should be. Let's put our probes in. Okay, and we're running at 6.57 volts roughly. All right, you can see that, 6.57, 6.58. Now here's an interesting thing that I want to do. Okay, with the BS adapter, like the ones I cut apart earlier when I cut the tails off these, you know, these type of Molex to fan. If it's your only choice, okay, you're going to have a fan running at a high rate of speed. But if you can get one of these splitters, I highly recommend it. And here's the reason. We're going to take this computer of this user that I have here. We're going to wake it up. It is awake. And what we're going to do is we're going to fire up a GPU test and watch the voltage increase and the RPMs go up. More voltage equals faster RPM on your fan. Oh, please work. Please work. Please work. Come on. There we go. There we go. Yeah. All right. We'll just watch the one fan. And you can see we're running our test. And the temperature is rising for our graphics card. We're up at 75C. Let's check with our juice meter and see how much juice this thing is outputting. We were at 6 point something before, 7.23. RPMs of our fan have slightly increased. It's going to do, you know, as the system gets warmer, the fan RPMs will increase and cool it off more. When it cools down, the system's going to sense that and the RPMs will go down. So they'll get louder as it gets hotter and quieter when it starts cooling off. You don't get that with these adapters, and that with these here adapters. You don't, not at all. That's why I don't recommend those. Do it the right way. You can split, I think, up to 4. Don't quote me on it. I think you can do 4 fans off of most modern motherboard headers. 7.76 volts. RPMs are increasing. We're at 89C. 80 or 89? 80C on our GPU. 81. 7.90. It's just great. Anyhow, demonstration over. You know, he thought I was ending the video. Can't end the video and just be kicking myself thinking, man, you just sound so stupid not showing why the hell you even made this thing. Just talk about it, don't show. What an idiot. All right, we're gonna put our pros back, clean up our tools as we're talking. People, thank you so much. All the new subscribers, welcome. People, if you're thinking about subscribing, go ahead and do it. It's free, costs 0 cents. If you come over here from Phil, thank you. Thank you, Phil, as well. Much appreciated. I in a million years, I could never express my gratitude. Somebody, such a stand-up, what's the right word? Just like the candid approach to life that guy has. The coder, Phil, just straightforward. Like somebody like him sending people over here. Awesome gesture of the utmost kindness. So much appreciated. Anyhow, enough blabbering out of me. As I said earlier when we did the fake ending, my name's Nick. Thanks for coming over and making a fan splitter or fan header splitter today, and we'll see you in the next video.